Hi, I'm Ilona Turner, Legal Director at Transgender Law Center. Harassment of transgender students continues to be a serious problem at schools across the country. One recent nationwide study found that 89% of transgender young people reported having been harassed at school just in the previous year, and 55% had been physically attacked. And of those transgender people who had been harassed at school, a staggering 51% reported having attempted suicide. This is a serious, serious problem. And unfortunately, historically, a lot of schools have not been responding appropriately. Just recently, Jules Gutierrez, a 16-year-old transgender girl in Hercules, California, was being constantly harassed at school just because of who she is. And even though she complained to school administrators, they didn't step in to protect her. And as a result, she felt like she had no choice other than to defend herself physically, and ended up getting in a fist fight, which led to criminal charges being filed against her. And this is something that we see over and over again. Transgender folks who face pervasive discrimination and bias, who are then pushed into the criminal justice system themselves just for trying to survive. Fortunately, though, there are legal protections that should be able to help. And that's not only in the states that have explicit non-discrimination laws, but also under federal law, Title IX, which prohibits sex discrimination in schools. Courts and the U.S. Department of Education have been really clear that if a school stands by and lets a transgender student be harassed, or any student who fails to conform to somebody else's idea of gender stereotypes, that's a form of sex discrimination that is prohibited under federal law. And we're also seeing states, the federal government, and courts standing up for transgender youth and saying that they have the right not only to be free from harassment and bullying at school, but they also have the right to be supported and respected for who they are at school, so that they can participate in school activities and have the same chance to succeed as all their classmates. We've seen decisions over just the last 6 months from Colorado, Maine, the U.S. Department of Education and Department of Justice, a law passed in California, guidance issued by education agencies in states across the country, all confirming that transgender students need to be respected and allowed to participate in school activities and use school facilities based on their gender identity, not their sex assigned at birth. This is really important for students like Ashton Lee, a 10th grader from Manteca, California. His birth certificate said female, but he lives and identifies as a boy. And his school last year assigned him to the girls' gym class, where they were doing fundamentals of dance, instead of the boys' gym class, where they were doing team sports. And as the only boy in the girls' class, this obviously made him feel really singled out and isolated and stigmatized. And it really invites harassment from the other students when a school treats transgender students differently from all their peers in that way. But after the recent clarification to California law was passed last summer, his school administrators were willing to sit down with Ashton and his parents and make a plan for him to join the boys' PE class. And as a result, he's now a whole lot happier and doing really well in school, thank goodness. And so these kinds of policies and court decisions, they're all based on the simple concept that a transgender girl who lives every day as a girl should be allowed to be in the girls' PE class, use the girls' restroom at school. A transgender boy who lives every day as a boy should be treated like all the other boys. Basically, these policies are about making sure that all kids have the opportunity to do well in school and graduate. And it's actually really exciting right now to see the way that policymakers, judges, and schools across the country are stepping up to make sure that they are providing that same opportunity to transgender young people.